The rise and glory of ancient Greece. Welcome in the cradle of the Mediterranean, where the blue seas kissed white marble shores. A civilization was born that would shape the future of the world. This is the story of ancient Greece, a land of mighty warriors, profound philosophers, divine myths, and democratic ideals. From the rise of city-states to the conquests of Alexander the Great, Greece became more than a place. It became an idea. But this story is more than statues and ruins. It is the journey of a people who questioned the stars, built empires, fought for freedom, and defined what it means to be human. So light the torch, and let us travel back in time into a world of gods, glory, and greatness. It's the true story of ancient Greece, the birth of civilization long before democracy. Before Socrates and Sparta, there were the Minoans and Mycenaeans, the first Greeks. On the island of Crete, around 3000 BCE, the Minoan civilization. These people built grand palaces like Knossos, decorated with vibrant frescoes of dolphins and dancers. Their writing, called Linear A, is still under. The Minoans were peaceful traders who revered goddesses and worshipped nature. But their reign didn't last forever. Around 1450 BCE, their palaces mysteriously burned. Some say it was an invasion by the Mycenaeans, warrior kings from the Greek mainland. Others blame a massive volcanic eruption on nearby Thera. The Mycenaeans, known from the epitaphes of Homer, like the Iliad and Odyssey, dominated Greece from 1600 to 1100 BCE. They built fortified citadels, like Mycenaean and ruled with kings and armies. But then came the collapse. For reasons still debated perhaps, war, famine, or invasion, Greek civilization fell into a dark age. For 400 years, writing disappeared, cities shrank, art stopped. But the Greeks did not vanish. The rise of the city-states by 800 BCE, Greece began to rise again. The people formed independent city-states called polis. Each had its own government, army, and identity. Among them, two became legendary: Athens and Sparta. Athens was the heart of culture, learning, and democracy. Around 508 BCE, under the leader Cleis, Athenians created a system where citizens voted on laws, a revolutionary idea that shaped modern politics. Sparta, on the other hand, was a warrior society. Boys trained for war from age 7. Honor, discipline, and strength were everything. Women had more freedom here, as they were expected to raise strong warriors. But all city-states shared one thing: belief in the gods of Mount Olympus. Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, and Athena. These were not just myths, but part of daily life. Festivals like the Olympics honored them. Meanwhile, Greek philosophers began asking deeper questions. Thales wondered what the world was made of. Pythagoras studied numbers and the stars. Heraclitus said, everything flowed. This new age of reason had begun. Marriage and roles. Marriage in ancient Greece wasn't based on love, it was more of a social and economic arrangement. A young Greek woman, often between the ages of 12 and 15, was usually married to a man at least 10 to 15 years older. Fathers arranged marriages to strengthen family ties, secure wealth, or elevate social status. The ceremony was private. There was a feast, a dowry exchange, and the symbolic act of transferring the bride from her father's household to her husband's. This transition marked a woman's new role as wife and mother. In Athens, the woman's main duty was to manage the household and raise children. She rarely had a public role. Men, on the other hand, spent more time in public life, politics, sports, or military service. But despite its formal structure, marriage in Greece could include emotional bonds. Some couples formed genuine affection over time. Sexual norms and beliefs. The Greeks believed that sexuality was a natural part of life, but it was deeply connected to roles, power, and gender. In marriage, intimacy had one primary goal: producing legitimate male heirs to carry on the family name. Sons were highly valued, and fertility was considered a blessing from the gods, especially from Hera and Aphrodite. While intimacy between husband and wife was expected, emotional or romantic connection wasn't emphasized as much. Conversations about pleasure or desire were often found more in poetry and plays than in household instruction. Men, especially those of higher status, had more sexual freedom. Outside of marriage, they could engage with concubines, courtesans, or slaves. Higher educated, elite courtesans were known for their beauty and wit, and could even attend symposia. Unlike wives, women's sexuality, however, was tightly controlled. Female chastity was essential before marriage, and loyalty afterward was expected without exception. Adultery by a woman could result in divorce, or worse, while men faced fewer consequences. The Persian Wars in the early 5th century BCE, a mighty empire from the east, threatened Greece. The Persians, under King Darius Persia, invaded in 490 BCE, but at the Battle of Marathon, a smaller Athenian force defeated them. A messenger ran 26 miles to bring the news around that inspired the modern marathon. 10 years later, Darius's son, Xerxes, returned with a massive army and navy. He burnt Athens, but not before facing resistance. At the narrow pass of Thermopylae, 300 Spartans and a few thousand allies held off the Persians 4 days. They all died, but their sacrifice became legendary. Soon after, Athens' navy crushed Persia at the Battle of Salamis, and by 479 BCE, the Persians were driven out of Greece. Greece had united, briefly, and triumphed. Their victory preserved their culture and laid the ground for what came next. A golden age. The golden age of Athens. Under the leadership of Pericles, Athens entered a time of brilliance. It was during this period that the Parthenon was built, a temple to Athena, goddess of wisdom. Sculptors like Phidias created timeless statues. Playwrights like Sophocles and Euripides filled theaters with tragedy and drama. But it wasn't just art. This was the age of Socrates. Socrates walked the streets, questioning everything. What is justice? What is truth? His student Plato recorded his words and wrote the Republic. Plato's student, Aristotle, would later tutor a boy named Alexander. Athens also became a naval power, leading the Delian League. But power brings jealousy, and Sparta had enough. From 431 to 404 BCE, Athens and Sparta fought the Peloponnesian War. It was brutal. In the end, Sparta won, but Greece was weakened. Worse, in 399 BCE, Socrates was sentenced to death, accused of corrupting the youth. He drank poison hemlock and died, leaving behind ideas that still echo today. The rise of Macedonia and Alexander the Great to the north. In the region of Macedonia, a new power was growing. King Philip II unified the Greek city-states through war and diplomacy. But it was his son, Alexander, who would become a legend. At just 20, Alexander became king. Within a decade, he conquered the Persian Empire. He never lost a battle. He spread Greek culture across the known world, founding cities like Alexandria in Egypt. He respected local customs, encouraged learning, and blended East with West. But in 323 BCE, Alexander died in Babylon, just 32 years old. His empire crumbled, divided among generals, yet the world had changed forever. Greek language, art, and science spread far and wide. This new era was called the Hellenistic Age. The legacy of Greece, though. Greece fell under Roman rule in 146 BCE. Its legacy endured. The Romans worshipped Greek gods, renaming them. They studied Greek philosophy. They copied Greek art and drama. Greek became the language of science and education. The influence continued through the Byzantine Empire and into the Islamic Golden Age, where Greek texts were preserved by Arab scholars. During the Renaissance, Europeans rediscovered Greek knowledge, sparking revolutions in science, politics, and art. Today, democracy, philosophy, geometry, medicine, and even the Olympics can trace their roots to ancient Greece. Its ruins still stand, its ideas still breathe, and its story continues to inspire. From the dusty stones of the Acropolis to the echo of Socrates in the marketplace, the story of Greece is not just ancient, it is eternal. It is a reminder that knowledge can rise from ruins, that courage can shape destiny, and that even the smallest city can change the course of the world. This was not just a history of a nation, it was the birth of a civilization, a gift of wisdom to the world. And as long as we ask questions, seek truth, and cherish freedom, the spirit of ancient Greece will never die. If you found this video helpful or enjoyable, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more amazing content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update.